Welcome back to another Movies with Andy. Today's movie is Michael.
I believe music can change the world.
So Michael follows the life of the king of pop, Michael Jackson. So around the era of the Jackson 5 to 1988. So yes, this movie doesn't go from the beginning to the very end of Michael Jackson's life. But before we begin, this review is brought to you by Te Salud. I'm telling you, I never have the energy and focus on the table because I always finish them. And they have 200 milligrams of caffeine, so you know they're delicious. And they have so many amazing flavors as well. But the hydration and immunity are also very delicious, especially the piña colada. If you can get the piña colada, put in your order right now. And if you would like 10% off your order, make sure you use the code ANDY10. Yes, that's ANDY10 for 10% off your whole order, so hurry up and go. Thank you so much, Te Salud. Now back to the review. So let me talk about things that I liked about this film. I cannot believe that this is Jafar Jackson's first role because he did an amazing job in this movie. Yes, he played Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Someone I didn't think that could be played in a movie well. Jafar Jackson just captured the essence of what it was like to be Michael Jackson. He not only did an amazing job with all the dance moves and the singing, but some of his little ticks and some of his special moves with Michael Jackson. He just understood the assignment. And yes, he also did have insider information because he is Michael Jackson's nephew. But just because you're someone's nephew doesn't mean you can act like them. So I feel like Jafar Jackson just did an amazing job. And now the antagonist of this movie, Coleman Domingo, man, F Coleman Domingo, with the most respect, of course, because he just did an amazing job as Joseph Jackson, because he just plays a very threatening dad, someone that you would be very afraid to talk back to. And that's exactly what Coleman Domingo does throughout this whole movie. He just puts the fear of God into Michael Jackson. There was just one little scene that I loved very much because it showed how scared Michael Jackson was of his dad. So when Joseph Jackson is coming towards Michael Jackson, they just do a quick cut to Michael Jackson's hand and he starts really gripping the door handle because he's just that afraid of his dad. I feel like this movie did a really good job of portraying that. Also, I don't think that it gets talked about a lot, but the kid that played young Michael Jackson did an amazing job as well. He has one scene in particular that I loved where he's talking to his mom and he just says, I can't have regular friends. He wants regular friends his age, but he just says they just keep looking at me and they want to take pictures of me, which it just shows how much of Michael Jackson's childhood was taken away from him. And now he had to rely on his animals to be his best friends. I feel like this movie just did a really good job of portraying how Michael Jackson grew up to be afraid of his father and not have a childhood at the same time. Although I do wish that this music emphasized on Michael Jackson's musical genius, from him not being able to play an instrument to him just coming up with beats on the spot or just waiting for the beats to actually come to him. They did give us a little peek into that, but I just wish they emphasized on that more. But the parts that they did show was really good. Of course, I'm not going to talk about the music because we already know Michael Jackson's music is amazing. But Jafar Jackson's dancing performance was really good as well. Shout out to my homie Eric because he's the one that told me that he actually had to learn to turn the other way because while Michael Jackson turned left, Jafar Jackson was used to turning right. So I just thought that was really cool to see how far Jafar Jackson went into becoming Michael Jackson. And yes, maybe he bobs a little bit too much on the moonwalk, but I can get past that. And if you weren't able to tell, I am a really big Michael Jackson fan, so I know that they did leave a lot out of this movie, which I understand why people had a problem with it, but we also got to think that they had like 22 years of stories in 2 hours. So although they may have left out a lot of things, I feel like they did a good job with the 2 hours that they did have, because rumor is that there was like a 3 to 3.5 hour cut of this movie, which it did go on to the 90s and even early 2000s. So the parts that they did focus on into Michael Jackson's life, they did a really good job on. I also did like that this movie showed a lot of Michael Jackson's volunteer services he would do, such as going to the hospital to talk to critically ill children and just hang out with them and bring them toys and doing things like that, which was amazing. Which I like that the movie did focus on those things. Alright, I do agree with a lot of people saying that this was a very safe movie, but just because it's a very safe movie doesn't mean it's not fun, because this is a very fun movie. Even with some pretty sad things going on throughout the movie, it is very fun overall. And it was just such a fun movie that you couldn't help but dance throughout the whole film. Oh, and I don't know if anybody can answer this, but did they use Michael Jackson's actual house in this movie? Because it looked very similar to his real house. I don't know, someone has to know. And that was some things that I didn't really like. All right, I know that a lot of people didn't like the time jumps and how big of the time jumps were in this movie, but if you look at behind the scenes, it's because they couldn't talk about specific things in that era, which kind of sucks because I know we lost some very important things that happened throughout that era. But that's not the studio's fault, which I don't even know why I'm putting in things that I didn't like, but it's because it's part of the movie and it just sucks that we didn't get to see like the Wiz and certain friends that he was friends with. Just like a certain sibling wasn't in there. So yes, it's things that I didn't like, but it's things that I know that the production couldn't control. Also, I do wish that this movie went more into depth of who Michael Jackson really was. Yes, like we saw the playfulness and the body dysmorphia with his nose, but I do wish that we went more into what he was thinking or what was going through his mind when certain things were happening, or we could see what he was really thinking about when Joseph did certain things. I just wish that we went more into depth with his character. And this is just a little small thing, but although I do love Michael Jackson's music, I do wish that it wasn't in every single frame of this movie. Like if you listen really closely, even on like the emotional parts, they do use Michael Jackson music, whether it be slowed down or like a piano version of a song. I love Michael Jackson music, don't get me wrong, but I just do wish that we had other music to portray sadness or like a very eventful part of a movie. Like I said, I do love Michael Jackson music. And also, I do know that a lot of parts are missing with even the parts of the movie that we did get. So I just do wish that, like specifically with the Thriller album part, I just wish that in that part of the movie, they would have shown of why he wanted that album to be the best. Michael Jackson was just being very petty against the Grammys because they only gave him 1 Grammy with his album before. So he's like, nah, I'm going for all of them next time. So I do wish that they showed of why he wanted this to be the biggest album ever. But like I said, I know you can't put 22 years of things in 2 hours, but there are those little details that just make the story even better. And I feel like it just would have portrayed that part of the movie even better. So now, would I watch Michael in the theaters again? Yes, I would, and I've actually already seen it twice in the movies. This is just one of those movies that I really had to watch twice because I just really wanted to cement my thoughts and what I was really thinking about this movie and whether I liked it or not. Because like as a Michael Jackson fun biopic, it's amazing and I loved it. But just as someone who knows a little bit about Michael Jackson's backstory, especially after researching it after this movie, even more, it just kind of sucks of everything they left out. But it is still a very fun movie and I really did like it, especially because of all the dance sequences and of how amazing Jafar Jackson did. And Coleman Domingo and Miles Teller as well. So I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of people either really love it or really hate this movie. So what did you think about Michael? And did you watch it in the movie theaters or are you gonna wait till it just comes out on streaming? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie reviews every week.